I saw this quote on YouTube. It was actually a post on YouTube, a community post, and the guy said he put it. I don't remember the quote exactly. I'm paraphrasing here. Basically, when you pray for something and you get it, that is God's direction. He's leading you in the right direction. But when you pray for something and you don't get it, that is God's protection. Protecting you from something that you don't really need. It's not good for you. It's like a kid who asks his parents for candy for every meal. The parents obviously going to say no. You can't have candy for every meal. That's their protection, right? Let's say the kid asks to go play outside. He wants to play with a new neighbor, wants to play basketball with a new neighbor across the street. That's a good thing, right? It involves community, it involves being a good person, a good neighbor, inviting someone new into your home to play. And then, of course, being outside, playing basketball, and doing a sport, that's all good. The parent, more than likely, will allow them to, unless your neighbor's a weirdo, right? But more than likely, your parent will allow it. That's their direction. They're reinforcing that he's going down a good path. This is a good decision. Same thing with God. And it's even more so. Because, in the sense of the parent and the kid, parents can make wrong judgments, right? Kids are they don't even have, let's say, good judgment or judgment at all. They don't know what is good and bad yet, really. It's even more so with God because even if you don't believe in God, the idea of God is that He knows all, He's all good, He's omnipotent, all powerful, all knowing. So He knows exactly what is good and exactly what is bad for us. And as humans, if He is protecting us from something that we asked for, it was not good for us. And there's a lot of times in my life I can recall, and I want you to try this right now. Just take a moment to think about if there's ever a time, if you're religious, that you prayed for something that you wanted. And whether you got it or not doesn't matter, but you prayed for something and looking back at it a couple years later, maybe even like a week or a couple months after the fact, and you realize it wasn't in your best interest to ask for that. But at the time it seemed good. Even if you aren't religious, just a time you thought you wanted something in life, and either you got it or you didn't get it, but later in life you realize that it actually wasn't good for you, what you were asking for. I can think of a bunch of times. You can pause this video right now, think about it, you can watch this video to the end, then try to think about it. But I'm sure there's at least one time in your life where you asked for something, you thought you wanted something, and it actually wasn't good for you. And at the time it made sense, but now it doesn't. You see better now because you're older, or situations happened, circumstances played out, and you saw that it was actually not good for you. So we must understand that when, if you're religious and you're praying to God and you don't get something, it's happened to me before. I got really mad one time that when something didn't happen. Unraveled my life, you could say. But looking back at it now, it was probably for the best. Or at the very least, I know for a fact now, it wasn't as good as I thought it would be if I had gotten it. And we just must realize that. If you pray for something and you get it, that's His direction. If you pray for something and you don't get it, that is His protection. And I actually saw, just thinking about it now, I saw an interview recently with Kanye West, Ty Dolla $ign. It was a Vultures album interview. They were talking about Vultures, but they talked about other stuff. And in the interview, Kanye said that they're talking about how there was cursing on this album because Kanye's previous two albums didn't have any cursing on it. Because he was turning his life to God. And his last album, Vultures, his collaborative album with Ty Dolla $ign, there was a lot of cursing on it and a lot of explicit content, not Christian like at all. And Kanye was saying that he has problems with Jesus because he asks Jesus for some things and he didn't get it. He would pray to Jesus for something or to God and he didn't get it. And so now he feels like he has to take things into his own hands. and that praying is worthless. Why don't people actually do stuff instead of pray? He went on a bunch. And so he's finding problems with Jesus and Christianity. I would say that he doesn't understand that if he prayed to God for something, no matter what it was, I don't know what it was, and he didn't get it, then it's probably his protection. Again, Kanye is a full grown man, but that doesn't mean he is prone to make wrong judgments and to make mistakes. He may think something is good for him and that's why he prayed for it, but it's not. And God has bigger plans for us. He knows what is best for us. And so I would like to say that I disagree with Kanye on this and that he is wrong in this sense. Even though you didn't get something, it could even be you don't get it yet. But a lot of times when we pray for something and we don't get it, that means it wasn't good for us. And Kanye needs to understand that. And everyone that prays for something and doesn't get it and gets mad needs to understand that either you're not getting it now, you need to wait, be patient, or it's not good for you and God's not going to give it to you. It's his protection. Remember, if you pray for something and you get it, it is God's direction. If you pray for something and you don't get it, it is his protection.